So there's a very quick overview on updating the FTM-100d. There is a link to the firmware on the website, or at least the ASU page. Then you click Files at the top, and it should always be the top set of firmwares. Obviously, we're in Europe. It takes a few seconds to download. Once it is downloaded, we can unzip the file, and I'm just going to drag it to the desktop and then open it up. Inside is everything you need. There's three things to update: the DSP, the firmware, and the display. And there's a PDF to go with each one as well. So first of all, we're going to check our COM port quickly. So in Windows search, type device, and you should come up with device manager. And then down on this list, you'll see ports, and then you can check the COM port of the lead you've already connected. If you follow the instructions, it will put you through this step by step, but this is just a quick overview. I'm going to try and squeeze the whole video into 10 minutes. So here we go. So once we run the DSP update tool, it's going to ask for the COM port. Simple enough. Once we put that in, we can click OK, and then it will start to update. There is a little configuration on each section to do on the radio. They're not complicated, but some of them are a little fiddly. There's a little bit inside where you have to flick a switch. There's a few buttons to push at once, this and the other, but the guide does guide you through it all. So we're going to have a quick look at that now. I'll just show you the buttons you've got to push for this first one at least. Which is the VM and GM keys, and then we've got to turn the power on. And you'll hear a noise. There we are. So it now says press the D key, which is the DX key or D key that's almost in the middle here. So I can push that. It's then waiting for a signal from the computer. So if we flip over the computer, we have update, and that will ask if you're sure. It's going to ask mostly if I'm sure, because I'm copying the same version across the demo this, but that will take a few seconds. It'll copy across, and then we are. So once that's done, you're going to turn off the power and basically do thing first, disconnect the lead, etc. And that's that part done. You can then boot up and use the radio with that installed. However, now we're going to do the main update instead. So there's a small grommet on top. Take that off, and inside you'll see a rather fiddly switch, but a pen or a small screwdriver, you'll be able to get in there, flick the switch, and that takes it into update mode. You do need to disconnect the power and everything beforehand. And then that will allow you to flick the switch. Then you reconnect the USB lead for the computer, then reconnect the power. Again, there is a guide for this in the pack. It always downloads with the whole thing. The procedure doesn't change. We already know the COM port from earlier on. Can be worth checking. Sometimes Windows will assign you a new one, especially if it just says no, then it's worth checking. But it is more than likely going to be the same COM port, because it's the same lead used each time, even if the radio is in a different configuration. So it does say, obviously, once you connect all the leads, connect the power lead last, and then you're more or less ready to go. So you don't need to turn the radio on for this one. I'll just check the COM ports quickly, like I say, just to make sure. But then you input this into the update main software, which is in a folder called that. Same COM port as before, and we're going to click update, and it's going to walk you through in steps the sequence that is required. It's worth a read just to make sure you've done it. And if you have, click OK, go ahead, and it will update that. Only takes a few moments, depends on the computer and how you got it set up, but it shouldn't take overly long. Once that's done, you're then going to reverse the unplugging procedure, so turn off the unplug the radio and then disconnect the leads. And then the last one on this Whirlpool tour is the display. Again, PDF for it. The display settings in its own folder, so have a look at it. Then we're going to run the software. Now, there is slightly more complicated on setting this one up. Again, disconnect the power, connect all the leads. tell it what COM port is on, which should be the same as the last two times. Then we need to turn on the radio, pushing several buttons, push a few more, and then flick a switch. So, like I say, this one's a little more complicated, but it doesn't take too long. So we're going to have a quick look at it now. So buttons we need this time are TX, PO, and GM. Turn the radio on and we get a noise. There we are. So panel update says push DISP. Push that, and the radio will then go blank. It's important to know it is still on, so don't do anything more drastic than that. We're then going to take the front display off, and there is another grommet inside we need to access just here. And inside that is another switch that we need to flick, and then that will allow us to continue with the update. So the thing you'll notice more predominant when you look into this hole, there is a reset button which is right in the middle. That's not what you want to push. There's a little green bit here to the left in this picture. That is the switch. The reset button is the grey button in the middle. So you want to go for the switch down the side. I used to torch to see in there because I thought it was a little easier. But again, in the PDF, it does say that it's the little switch next to it that you want rather than the button. And then the same again, have a little read of the splurge on the computer to make sure you've done everything in the correct order. And then when you hit update, it will update and copy that to the radio. You basically then turn it off, disconnect everything, reboot the radio, and you are good to go. And that is a very quick overview of how to do this. Pause this video if you need to during it, or certainly read those PDFs because everything you need step by step is in there. Thanks for watching. Hope you like the website and the videos. There'll be more soon.